25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade presents My Two Deputies.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to 25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade presents New York by Night, as hosted by DJ, your storyteller. Today's Prelude is going to be with Bob. Bob, who's currently here, who's going to be playing a very unique character. Bob, would you be able to tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, Gaetano is a New York native from the Bronx that honestly had a rough life. And let me define rough life. I don't think anybody in New York would see it as rough. You lived in your neighborhood. People got picked on. You fought some. You didn't some. You know, classic city life for a lot of folk. But it was Bronx before it got gentrified and everything was getting on the upscale. That's when he was raised. He gets embraced somewhere around... how do I put that? Recent. We're going to put that there. Just leave that there as a footnote. Why I say that is because up until when he was embraced, guy had a heart of gold, thought about going back to the neighborhood. These kids got a rough shot. You know, he had been one of them. He gets what goes on. And he went up in the school system. So he was going to be a public school teacher. And where he targeted was history. And they actually, like happens in the public school system, gave him like history, English, and science as they were losing teachers to a very much violent element in classroom. And he had a way of speaking to certain students to reach them, but there was a ton of violence. And what are we talking about? I think anybody who's a fan of certain films of school teachers having a rough go, those exaggerations are sort of a reality in the world of darkness. How you can have a very violent element take over, threaten teachers, students, and worse. And Gaetano at the time wasn't someone to oppose the law. He had to collect a check. He also did what he could to protect the students. That includes breaking up fights and occasionally being in them, especially after work when certain sets didn't agree with how he handled the student and wanted to have a word with them. And him and the police worked hand in hand a lot. He was that type of guy. However, death changes things, and his was more sudden than others. He had weird parents who we always went home to and never seemed to have a problem with what Gaetano had done, and they weren't encouraging. They were parents who basically were, okay, you're done with school, yes, your dinner's on the stove, and they never ate with him, and they kept very distant, but this didn't bother Gaetano. To him, it's just, he collected his allowance, which he had $400 a week, that he got from his parents to do with what they wanted to, but any excess unspent gets dumped in this weird account as they try to teach him how to save up. And that's sort of been what it is his whole life, this distant mom and dad and not really knowing what's going on. But after his embrace, some illusions get shattered. One being, he's not certain if those two people were his mom and dad at all. He has no idea if they were or were not. In fact, it's very hazy. Suddenly he can't describe his mom, can't really recall what his dad looked like. He knew they were medical in some type of way, but didn't know what. And all he had was his tried and true comic book collections and thought it was weird. His dad collected vampire comic books, period. And had him in his hand at a very young age, and they bonded with it. But he always thought it was his dad, and turns out that maybe it wasn't. And that's sort of in the background for Gaetano to try to investigate where he can, but it's kind of hard. His whole world has been the Bronx so far. And when he gets turned, it's still harder still, because he's not just a human who happens to be immortal. I want to shatter that illusion. Things change for you. And how he's adapted to this is that violence, he's not against it anymore. It becomes a tool. And he doesn't see as the law able to do anything to him, in fact. And this has served him to understand that you have to have some order. And so he's decided to be the law in a lot of ways. Like he's going to help out and do what he can whenever he can. But thankfully, he's saved by the sheriff. The sheriff is somebody who sees him becoming too black and white. I think that's what I want you to focus on. The role-playing I'm trying to tackle today is somebody who was moral and upright, who had that broken and now has a beast. And those impulses he's not too good at controlling because he doesn't necessarily disagree with them. And now it's how does he take life in that order? And the only person of guidance has been the sheriff to come around and kind of smack his fangs back and, hey, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. And in order for the sheriff to keep that clout, he made me a deputy, the youngest one of the two. And that's the character Gaetano.
And so This evening will actually take place about 3 months back, just shortly after having been deputized by the sheriff itself. We're probably taking a look just as New York is starting to get a little bit warmer and the heat is starting to come in late June. What we do also know is that Gaetano isn't the only one that was kind of left to his devices. One of the things that we are aware of is Gaetano, being what he is, always had someone watching over him. And to this, we will introduce ourselves to a character who is near and dear to his heart, if such a thing could be said, which really isn't a thing to be said. And this gentleman's name is Bastian Charles. The funny part about Bastian is that Bastian always kept an eye over at Gaetano himself. One of the few things that he notices as soon as that Gaetano was turned, Gaetano had no direction at all. This man was always standing around him. Now, whereas he may seem more stern of a father than Gaetano ever had in his mortal life, this man had always brought him around. One of the things that Gaetano is very well aware of is that he has a street name of Sway. He would never allow Gaetano to call him Sway, if only because that name is the name that are given to mortals, to that particular type of life. He always also seemed like that faraway father that you really didn't want in the first place, and every time Gaetano asked him a question, it was always met with a slight sense of derision, but at the same time, the same type of expectancy that you would get from anyone that's trying to teach him something, right? Not much is being told about this, once again, Mr. Charles, or Bastian in this particular case, except for the fact that our scene will set itself up on that late June in which he's driving Gaetano with him. First stop seems that it seems like it's going to the Bronx itself, and so we'll begin there. In the vehicle himself, he'll be driving through. There's a big fat cigar that rests on his lips as he drives by. And he'll look over at Gaetano driving very, very lightly. His eyes are still kind of hidden behind his glasses. Gaetano knows that behind those glasses, he definitely has a very stern look. Every now and then, though, when he does take a look into his eyes, it almost seems empty. And it almost seems like the wrinkles around his eyes just kind of deepen. Or maybe it just seems to be like his face caves in just ever so slightly. And that only really happens whenever he gets upset. What's all this talk about you becoming a deputy?
Well, Chuck, I always said that I had an eye for the law. You know, I was thinking to myself I could go around and making little mini Gaetanos, you know, getting them their fangs, having them take over the neighborhood, do their whole thing, and start a vampire gang. They had a baseball team already, I'm told. Thought maybe we'd get rings and kind of hunt high school chicks, but didn't seem to be the thing. And then I thought about it. It's got to be like a workforce, something I can do. And I went to the police station, filled out an app, and they weren't interested in somebody who could soak bullets like it was going out of style. And lo and behold, they found me. That's right. The guy with the big star came by and said, "You're hired. We got your application in the internet. You just got to come down and do this face-to-face." And that's that. Don't be mad, Chuck. I mean, I know affirmative action and all that, but it's coming back full swing for the white folk.
He just raises a brow at you as he's driving, almost impossibly not even staring at the road. He blows smoke in your direction. The fuck wrong with you, boy? He pauses for a second. He's like, there's more things at play here. You know better than that. Maybe I didn't teach you enough.
No,
Do you remember what it is?
Calm down. I remember the traditions, the second masquerade, all that fun stuff, where we're at, what's going on. I didn't fall off the turnip truck. What I'm saying is that I leave the conspiracies to you. You want to tell me where we're going? I mean, technically, I'm escorting you, right?
I know our relationship hasn't been that good. I'm not a father to you. Or at least... Well, he'll continue to drive straight down for like about a block and a half. He really just pauses in terms of talk. It seems like something kind of chokes him up for a second. He's like, you know, I'm not the one that made you. Do you understand that? Yes?
Is that a trick question? I mean, yeah. I figured you'd be like, you would have been there for starters, right?
Things change, Gaetano. Many things change. This existence has also changed for me. I've been in New York less than 10 years. This is a shithole place. If it was up to me, I wouldn't still be here. I'd be back in Haiti. I'd be taking care of my own business over there. Instead, you find me here. This is not what I enjoy doing. But this has more to do with family, or lack thereof. Are you familiar with what it is our clan does? Our blood does.
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on that. It's our clan is he'll look around for his post-it note and not remembering to bring it. Our clan is the Black Hatters, right?
Oh, please help me with this boy right now. If it was up to me, just...
Chuck, I'm sorry. It's creepy. I had that little book that makes me do that little ritual, and I don't even. It's a creepy ass ritual. I don't really like even doing it. And yeah, I was. That's it. We're the Hecates.
Hecata, boy, Hecata. This is only recent, though.
Oh, all right, fine.
The day. Back in the day, if this was up to me, and back in the time of my embrace, I was known as Samedi. It carried weight with it. There was many big differences in terms of the way the world operated. The way that we brought forth the law, the way that we brought forth our abilities, different. Much different than it is now. Your sire, we do not speak about him yet. When time comes, I will say something. But the family has changed. Since then, my name Samedi means nothing anymore. The people, those that were once known as the Giovanni who worked in the city, mean nothing anymore either. The name now is Hecata, but it's a messed up family. But I tell you this, everything will change moving forward from tonight, because up until this moment, I taught you some things. I took care of you in specific types of ways. I give this last gift for you. And the reason I tell you this now is because from here on out, you are your own person. You take care of things. I'm going to take you places, and you're going to make them your own. If you have the balls to do so.
Yeah? Who says no? It's a hell of a lead-in. You know, if I can say, this is going to be a really serious thing, isn't it? This is like when you taught me how to... Never mind. Why so tense?
Storm is coming, boy. One not many see. And specifically for you, well, let's just say you were made for this. My time here, probably not too long before I get called back, whatever it is the family wants me to do.
Okay.
Very well. He'll drive again in silence before he pulls over his vehicle, and he just puts it on double park. The music plays for a little bit, and he brings you to this location. There's music playing in the background, and there are people that are kind of watching on the corners. The combination of what you would probably anticipate this being, you're like a fish in water, for lack of a better term. And for those of you who aren't familiar with New York, there are certain things that you could always anticipate, especially in the Bronx. Outside of there being good food, good music, there's also a very heavy population of bodegas. You'll probably find a bodega on almost every corner more than you'll probably find a Starbucks, for those who are not familiar. And what is your bodega? It's your typical corner Latino store. It is your all-in-one, for lack of a better term. Before there were Dwayne Reeds, and even after Dwayne Reeds, there will always be your household bodega that stands. As you kind of approach the corner itself, you will see the couple people, old men that are sitting outside playing their dominoes on a small little table that has been folded up on it. You'll also see a couple of kids that are kind of standing closer towards the edge of the bodega, closer towards where the seats are, or rather the stairs to their apartment building, who have been trading some Pokemon cards. But you'll also see a couple of kids that seem like they're in their mid-teens. Kids that at one point would have seemed familiar to you back when you were still breathing, staying out way too late at night, especially with their book bag still on. It kind of gives you an idea that, well, they have better options, but sometimes the street claims everyone who kind of comes around. However, he'll simply point at you and goes, inside, there's a man who owes my money. You get that money, and from now on you tell him this is your place. Understood?
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll open up the glove box and take out my 9mm, and I'll actually take the clip from my pocket, which I do keep it separate in the gun when we travel in, and I'll load it up, put it on my hip, put my shirt over it, and I'll get out. So I'll start walking towards the building.
You'll walk towards the building, and you'll get a couple of eyes looking at you. Once again, actually, for our viewers, would you be able to give us an idea of what Gaetano looks like?
Gaetano looks like someone who tried to adapt to the trend. Like, you'll see that occasional teacher that doesn't fit the norm. They had their hairstyles are current, or they try to stay fit, or at least set an example. But then life gets a hold of you, and one fight too many. Gets scarred up by a kid, some sort of accident to his face, hard to say which, and it's left his mark on one side of his face. There's even the telltale screws that were put back in from a severe beating he had received. He's not good looking. He's not bad looking, just it's maybe if he didn't have that trauma, it'd be a different story. Seems buff enough to be passable, we'll put it that way. But this is not an imposing figure beyond that. Has many piercings in his ear, sort of a fallback from the punk scene of what he was into, going up and through college, part of who he is. And he's long since forgotten those days and has let them go, but the style's still there. Carries himself not like he's king shit. This isn't American gangster walking here. What this is somebody who's doing a job. He would whistle or light a cigarette if it wasn't illegal to do so.
And as you enter, people take a look at you. Once through the door, you're met with like small aisles of just everyday household items. On one section, you'll have your Dipsy Doodles and chips going all the way straight down. Farther on the right, you'll probably find a couple of household cleaners and detergents and such. And of course, up towards the front, you will see the counter. The counter itself is surrounded by prepaid cards, calling to every single country that does exist there. You have a couple of prepaid SIM cards as well. And you also say family first accepted here. There's a small amount of empanadas that are kind of listed on a small little burner thing that keeps them nice and warm. But behind it as well, there's a TV that's kind of playing. The TV, long gone were the days where you remember growing up. You saw the CRT tubes that kind of just played in the background with the antennas, suitably replaced now by smaller monitors that kind of have two things showing on them. On one monitor, you have at least the videos of the screen showing you who is coming in and who's coming out. For security purposes, you would almost assume. But then you also have something playing in the background, which seems to be a combination of Univision, which is like one of the bigger Latino stations, playing some sort of survival game. Well, it almost looks like American Ninja Warrior to you, with the exception that it just seems a lot more streamlined than it used to before. At the counter, you'll see this gentleman. Standing by. Originally seems like he's leaning up against the counter a moment before he sees you come in. He raises a small brow at you for a second before he leans on the counter. What's up, boss? What can I do for you this evening?
It's all the same. I'm just going to buy a couple things. You hungry?
He'll pat his belly. I mean, all the time.
Help me out. What sandwich would you get?
Well, and he'll take a look behind him, and what he's got behind is the typical deli thing, right? He's got the sandwiches that you would probably anticipate, your ham and cheese, the very simple sandwiches that would probably be sold to like high schoolers, and he also does have the infamous chopped cheese, which is a combination of pretty much hamburger meat that's chopped up with like cheese, American cheddar put onto the side of it, along with like what do they put on it? Lettuce and tomatoes, and it's usually made into like a nice little hoagie. He's like, what you need, boss? I also got empanadas too. Those are usually pretty good. You want some churros?
So you would eat all that? Like, that's all good to you?
Of course it is. I make it.
I'm specific. Well, yeah, but what would you eat? Like, what's your favorite? Like right now, if you would eat something.
He'll point to the back. He's like, I'll probably go with the Italian. It's classic. Not only that, but a little bit of the cheese later in this evening sits a little bit long, and I still got a long shift to go through. I ain't got time to take shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. So let me do that Italian sandwich. Let me get that churro and empanada and some chips that go with it. Let me throw this. I don't know. We doing Takis? Is that what you do? Nah, you said gastrointestinal. How about some Lay's?
Yeah. You get Lay's. You want it inside the sandwich or?
No. You don't have to put them inside. I mean, we'll leave it there. I mean, unless that's what you would do.
It makes it crunchier.
All right, throw them in the sandwich. You won me over.
You got it.
You drink soda, coconut water. What's your thing?
I usually go for a Coke. I'm a Coke guy myself, even though they sell Pepsi. It's shitty.
Yeah, I used to drink coconut water. I can still remember it. It was a kind of good thing. But yeah, let me get this Coke. And I'll put it all on the counter, and I'll start counting out the money for it.
You'll say, sure thing. Now, give me a second. Let me go ahead and make that sandwich for you, boss. And you'll grab your stuff and slowly start putting it inside of the paper bag as he starts to head over to, like, the little workstation. The workstation is pretty easy. You see, like, all the deli meats and such as it's currently in front of him. Very, very limited selection. It's like he doesn't have what a butcher would normally have. This is just one of the few things that bodegas normally have, and he'll just start making the sandwich for you. He's like, you just stopping by?
I wish I could say that. Now it's business, you know. But before I get into that, it's cool if I'm in here, right? If I came in here, like you accept me here of your own free will.
Yeah, boss. Why? You're a customer.
It's a relief. We all got rules in life, right? I just had to make certain because, limitations of the flesh. But don't worry about it. Listen. I got a guy outside. A mutual friend told me to come in here and give you a message. You know, likes to wear his brim hat. Looks like he's on safari. You know, he's kind of sharp glasses. Looks like an old non-vet walking around, but he's not. You know, Haitian. Ringing a bell?
Nah, it doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of Haitians around, right? I mean. That's a thing that happens there.
I mean, he's pretty unique. Usually has some sort of shitty cigar at the edge of his lip. Might have creeped you out once or twice. You pay him money.
He heard he makes your sandwich and he brings it to the counter. He's like, "Nah, boss, listen, that'll be $14."
Yeah, like I said, I'm paying for it. I'll throw the 20 on the counter. So keep the change. Listen, well, I'm going to tell you, I can give you two choices. You can call the cops now, and there's a lot of harm coming your way. But hey, I bought you a dinner, right? So, I mean, that's the good news. Or, because that's all for you. You have your dinner, you have your meal, and you can stop pulling my leg and telling me you don't understand what I'm talking about.
He'll like take a step back, and that same look that he currently has in that image is kind of what he kind of gives you there. You can, Bob, on your end, roll me your charisma or manipulation. Either one seems pretty good to me, along with your intimidation, if you would. I will give you a +1 die to this, and your difficulty will be 2.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Solid. His face starts off like that before you start seeing the trembling in his eyes. Just like that little wrinkle right underneath his eyes when you know that most people would kind of be shaking. And it's not like you don't see the shake, right? Because it almost seems like the tremor is kind of up in his shoulder before you actually start seeing the eye itself. Listen, man, I don't want any trouble. I'll give you what I got in the register.
No, time out. Time out. This isn't a give right now. It's letting you know that hands are changing. Right? So what maybe do is grab your meal, just come outside real quick. You see I'm with him. He'll be right there in the car. I'll give a head nod. I'm the new guy who you owe to. And we can work out a deal. I like your shop, man. I think it's great. I think your customer service was good. You passed my test. You know, you got a sandwich you're willing to make. Give me the little tricks about the cheese, the chips on the inside of the sandwich. I really wish I could eat that sandwich. I'm on a keto diet, though. I know how it is. But maybe later. But that stuff is for you now. We're just reaching a middle ground. I don't want to come in here and do anything crazy. And I also want to make certain that I could take care of your problems. Like, right now, we understand there's a changing of the guard. Come on, get the bag, get your food, and come on, so you can see as we're talking.
He'll awkwardly nod a second. You see, like, the first thing he kind of does just to kind of secure himself is like he takes a look towards like the back room for a moment before he just like quickly just switches up his vision. He starts taking a quick look outside. Yeah, man. And he'll walk around the counter, which isn't far. It's probably only like 5 feet between the divider where the food was actually being prepared versus like where the counter is where he sells things. You see him just kind of stumble along. There's nothing in his hands outside of the fact that he just keeps using his palms up against his jeans. It kind of gives you an idea of his impression before he clears his throat. He grabs the food and he starts following you.
So like I said, we're going to get out here. You're going to see the car. You can have a chat with him if you really want it. But he's just pretty certain you're going to accept the head nod, understanding what this is. But before you do that, because you will, but what is it? Where was I? We were talking about points. Okay, we did the whole thing. You get them. Oh, shit, I forgot. Here, I'll hand him the gun. Go ahead and take that.
He like panics at the sight of the gun. He'll take it and what he'll do is he'll just quickly dump it into like the brown paper bag and just hold it closer to his chest.
Look, that gun's for you. That gun's for you. If you don't want to do this deal and you want to like take your power back, put that one in the back of my head. I'm gonna walk in front of you right out this door. You can say I tried to rob you, whatever you want. It'll work because it's weird that I'm in this neighborhood, right?
Listen, man. I don't want any problems. I have a good thing going with Sway. I'm just. You'll like walk slightly. Like, are you proceeding out the door? Or are you still at the threshold? Like, where are you?
Yeah,
at?
absolutely. I'll proceed at the door, and when I get the door open, I'll stop in front and go, "Oh, hey, I didn't ask the best part. No doubt, a deal like this, you wouldn't need help from Sway unless you had problems that you needed to pay Sway for. So, what is it exactly that you pay him for? I'm assuming it's protection, right?"
He'll nod slowly and he'll take a look into the vehicle, and it's kind of hard to make out Sway. Rather, if it wasn't for the fact that the smoke's actually blowing out and the windows are tinted more than they really should be. The window rolled down just enough for an eyesight. It's not behind those thick ass sunglasses. You're not sure whether it's a nod of approval or it's just a nod of acknowledgement before the window just rolls back up. You'll see the kids kind of playing off to the side as they were like, "Hey, Lalo, everything okay? This guy causing you problems?"
Yeah.
No.
I'm not causing you problems.
No. Todo está bien. Don't worry about it. We're good. I just wanted to talk to an old friend of mine. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. That's all. Don't worry about it, kids. We're doing it. And,
You're good kids. I'll just wave at them. Keep at it.
don't have that look, that incredulous look of like, pendejo. So they turn around and go talking back. As if they're trying to share a secret amongst each other. And, Lalo just goes like, "Come on in. Come on in. Let me, you're not done with your groceries. Let me get you the rest."
I mean, those are your groceries. I bought them for you. I'm not joking.
Yeah, the money. Just give me a second. Just come with me. and he'll take you inside.
Lalo.
He'll rest the
Lalo,
groceries.
take a minute. Stand a second. Lalo, look at me. Stop
He'll
moving.
turn to
Look at
look
me.
back at you.
All right. I don't know what else I got to do. Yeah, I mean business. I gave you a gun. It's loaded. So the power I put in your hand, so it seems. Just want you to relax a minute. Understand, you're in control here of yourself. Now, I may represent an element of chaos, but I like to think of me as an orderly person. And part of that order, you get it now. What I said was true. We proved it. We're in here now. There's a new thing, but I got to know what I'm doing for you. Right? So if I'm like helping to protect here or helping you make moves or doing something for you, gotta let me know, or I'm just going to ignore it and come by and just take from you, and that doesn't do anybody any good. You believe in a symbiosis?
Symbi what?
All right, let me break this down. Everyone, did you see that shitty movie 300 about the Spartans?
I have.
All right, you know how it's they got badass women, warrior culture, the whole nine. They had a series of things called reforms. We'll skip that lesson. Could lecture you on it, but we could skip that. What I want you to remember is that they also believed that whoever was in bed with them business-wise, they extended courtesies to. Now, you were like an indentured servant, but at the same time, nobody would ever think of messing with you because of the total destruction that would come their way. That's why I want you to think of this. As polite as I'm being, as a veiled threat that I might be trying to execute, I don't really know how to do that. Typically, I would just threaten. Like, I thought about coming in here to choke you with the sandwich you picked. I thought that'd be good. Like, you'd just be back there gasping for breath, and I would pull a pile of hoagie out of your mouth and be like, do we understand each other? And say something like that. But then later on, you're going to get home, and with your wife or your girlfriend, you're going to, like, passively, aggressively shove off this aggression. And then they're going to get slapped. You're going to take it on to your kid because you got to. You got to retake your manhood. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to do that. Whatever violence happens can stay between you and me. And I want you to know that's the type of guy I am. But also the type of guy I am, if you're paying me a wage, it's because there's somebody I have to do something to, or someone I have to keep in mind. And maybe I'm just someone that comes by, and whenever you have a problem, you tell me. You give me what's good, and that's that. But, I forgot. Part of this is, there's no guessing games. If I ever come here and get from you, and I look at your taxes, and on the inside of those taxes, you're cutting corners and you tell me, business sucked, you better go outside and take one of them drug-running kids that sit out front for you, and you better shake them upside down and get that change for them freeloading right where they're at when they should be at home to make the difference, because if not, let's just say that's bad for you.
No, I get it. No. It's nothing like that. He'll put up his hands in surrender. Okay. He watches over me and the people that run for me. All right, that's what he does. And every now and then he asks for a place to sleep. I don't interrupt him. I just tell him what place is open, and that's it. This building, at least the first 2 floors are. I got connects. All right, I got connects that let me use up the rooms. That's all.
That's a righteous thing you do there. I appreciate it. You really are a one-stop shop. I mean, Bottega lives up to its name here. But that's it. Look, I'll be by on the 1st. I like the 1st of the month, no matter what it is. First good for you?
Yeah. But he'll listen. Let me just get you the thing. And he'll kind of like waddle towards the back, and he'll knock on the door. And you'll hear a small little tiny voice. Who is it? Baby, it's me. Just open up the door for Daddy. Okay, hold on a second, Dad. You'll see her just poke her head out. And the small girl, probably the age of about 12 or so. She has braids. She takes a quick look. She overlooks in your direction. And she raises an eyebrow. She goes, who is he? It's Daddy's friend. Don't worry about it. What's his name? It's Theo. Give me a name.
Oh, sorry. Hey, sweetie. My name's Gaetano. It's nice to meet you.
Gaetano. How do you know him? We went to school together, honey. Don't worry about it. Listen, Dio Gaetano just has to get the thing in the back, you know? The thing? The thing. Oh, okay. Listen, you watch the camera, okay? Yeah. Hold on, open the door. And she just, like, opens the door, and you'll see, like, the back room that seems like a storage area. And he'll walk towards the back, and he stumbles across to pick this up from a corner. And he'll present it to you. He's like, it's all there.
So let me ask a question. Is it just you and her?
Here?
I mean, is this your place of business, or just like a house for you too? I know there's places up there. I mean,
it is. Listen, man, can we just take it out of the room so my little one doesn't have to
look, I don't feel yeah, let's take it out of here. Let's do that. I'll go walking out. Give definitely their personal space back. Gaetano definitely does not feel cool right now. He'll just leave the back and kind of walk out where there's just food and this guy.
He comes like, he's like, it'll be okay, baby. I'm just gonna be right back. I'm just talking to Tio Gaetano, all right? It'll be okay. Like in between the door, you'll hear like a small little crinkling of sorts. Before like he pulls out, like he has his hand up in surrender, right? And he looks a little bit worried, but he'll pull out a plastic, like a brown paper baggie instead. And he'll just like walk towards you, and like a lunch meal, he'll still pack up everything and you'll put it down his way. He's like, listen, man, thanks. She knows daddy gotta make money, but she's not involved in any of this. All she knows is that this is what daddy does to protect the family.
Hey, it's just you. I'm gonna say this again. It's just you and her. There isn't like distant cousins and uncles in it. You weren't like tell me you're not a fucking scumbag. I mean, it's okay if you are. Are you in the life, or are you just trying to run a shop in a neighborhood?
Every now and then I buy weed, nothing too hard. Sometimes yayo, but she's not involved. She's not involved. These other kids, they ask for money, I help them out, giving them low level, nothing big. They don't get in trouble as far as I'm concerned. Like I just provide it, they give me the money back, and I just make them make change in the meantime. It's not the right way. I'm going to tell you right now. He'll close his eyes and he'll kind of sigh a little bit. It's not the right way, but it's the only thing I got, and it helps me secure this place for my daughter.
Just to make sure I got this clear, nobody's making you do this. You're just trying to make money?
He nods.
Then what are you paying protection for?
These kids sometimes, man, you'll see his his demeanor drops a little bit more. He'll run his hand through like his non-existent hair. It's listen, they fuck around too much. You know, the blood gets hot. They puff out their fucking chest. They start wars with other people, other fucking gangs they don't need to start off with. There's people getting shot out there, and sometimes these kids put themselves in a position, and Sway sometimes intervenes. Now, he takes care of my kids as best as he can, the same way I try to take care of my kids. But I don't ask any questions regarding what happens with the people that he intervenes with. All I know is that my kids are relatively safe.
What we're going to do is I'm going to take this bag. I'm going to give it back to you. You're my new banker. Okay?
He looks a little bit worried.
Don't worry about it. I mean, this money, however you write it off, continue to do it. I'm not about this American government. Uncle Sam gets his fair chunk of change. Always will. This is about you taking care of her a little more securely. See, there's always going to be someone like, like Sway to come by, and Sway apparently sweet on you and gave you the nice way out. Me, if it were just you didn't have that girl, I'd have took the money and walked out and kept fleecing you. That's what I would call it. You don't know your worth. But right now in this neighborhood, this place, you probably earn decent. Those kids, they run for you. Okay, they run for you. It's not going to hurt me. By the way, weed's legal, just not to deal out the back of your shop. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you can to earn money, as far as I'm concerned. But where we're going to have to agree is that you care about her. I care that you care about her. And as long as that's upheld and you're an up-and-up guy as far as that, I'm not going to judge you. We all have our demons. Does that sound good?
Yeah, man, that sounds good. Listen, I don't carry a burner on me. You know, you'd be doing me a good favor if you just be able to, and he just kind of slides that paper bag your way with the gun in it. He seems very nervous about it.
What this does is stop me from having to take it from you before I left. See? It's no problem. I'll put it back on my hip right where it is. I mean, it was always my gun. I just gave it to you to use if you felt you wanted to. See, if you were a piece of shit, you would have took that gun, and I'd have to beat you to death with it. But you didn't. And that's good. That tells me you're a good guy. You have your little girl back there, and you don't got a choice. She's at work, and you take care of her, and that's good. These kids, you're not being fleeced by a gang, but you're trying to earn money. You got to do right by a single dad life, right? New York's not cheap. There is no judgment here. We're good. I'm going to come by the first. We're going to have this arrangement. You can even show me that same bag. Here's how this works. What's in that bag right now is my price to handle problems. Meaning, if you got to call me to come handle a problem, I'll gladly come handle a problem. But the price is what you normally would give. But instead of you doing it every month, guaranteed, now it's as there's a problem. This way your little girl can have a little more comfort. You could put a little away more, whatever it is. Pay when you need to, not because you have to. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, man, it does. How do we get in contact with you?
Well, I got a cell phone, don't I? So, you want to write this down?
Yeah. And he'll go to he'll shuffle right back behind the counter and he'll grab his little ticket receipt thingy and he'll flip it over where he normally takes orders. And he'll take down his number. Rather, he'll take down Gaetano's number if he gives it to him.
And hey, she's not homeschooled. She goes to public?
Nuts.
All right. Well, if you want to transition her to private, you let me know. I can see if there's a way. Before you think I'm a fairy godfather to nowhere else, let's just say I know how this system works, and I also know how these neighborhoods work. They don't give a shit about what they would call a Hispanic community, let alone the Italian community, or any other community that isn't their perfect idea of a Caucasian in the U.S. But by the way, they shit on us too. Right? By them trying to take care of everyone else, the bureaucracy, full tilt, gives it to everybody in their own way. But I understand some get the limelight more than others. But I definitely do know that the other families are too ignorant to pick that up. And they will eat your little girl alive if they had a chance. So you got a rough life ahead of you, but a worthy one. So, now you got a number to call on. One more friend.
He'll sigh. There's the weight of his shoulders just kind of droops as if he was holding in a lot. He's like, "Thank you. Listen, man, I'm Lalo, and that's my little girl, Adelaide. Just please, this is the last thing you probably this is the pleading father's thing." And he's like, "Please, I don't intend on fucking up. I'm a straight up guy regarding it. I know I've done a lot of fucked up things in my life. If something happens, please, just not her."
Oh, whoa, hey, nah. Lalo would never be her. You know? It would never be her. She's not in your situation. She was just born under your... I also wouldn't do anything to you because of her. Do you get that? Now, a dad can hop around on one leg. He can type one-handed, and he could use one arm to hug as his broken one supports. There's a lot of shit I can do to you, Lalo. But what I'm not going to do is make it to where you can't take care of her, and you'd be good to remember that.
No, yeah. Yeah, just yeah, I get it. I get it. So you're saying no more sway?
Yeah, no more sway. That's what this is. He's a little weird these days, and if you ask me, he's just doing me a solid. I actually think he knew I would give a damn, and that's why I'm here, because you occasionally get into trouble. And you know what I gotta tell you? I like you, Lalo. Straight shooter. You didn't try to lie to me. You're a dad. This is all on the up and up, as far as I'm concerned. But that's it. That's all I got. Unless you got any problems here.
No problems, man. Listen, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, bro. If anything, I'll give you a
occasionally
call.
I'm gonna come by. Occasionally I'm gonna come by. I'm gonna give you a recipe. I want you to make it. You tell me how it is.
No, yeah, for sure. He'll tear.
I'm on a very strict diet, Lalo. Look at this, right? I got my macros, my micros. They're all in order, ducks in a row. I eat like 7 times a day, and they're within like 2-hour increments, and most of it's drinking protein drinks, right? It's called staying in shape. I call it mental torture. So, I can't eat like I like to. However, you're a man who really loves his food. I could tell that. And so, occasionally, I'm going to ask you to just like get down on a certain pie that I hear that came out. We got the New Yorker, which is the best, but I keep hearing all that shit talk about Chicago's pizza. Never had it. But there might be a home version that I could throw your way, and maybe you have it a little bit. Maybe you and your girl tell me how it is. It's a weird ask. But that way I know when I do have my cheat day, I can go ahead and make it at home.
No, yeah, most def. He'll grab the piece of paper and he'll fold it and he'll put it in his wallet. He'll not. He's like, all right, yeah, bro, just say hi to Sway for me and tell him thanks for everything. I guess. I don't think I'll see him again, am I?
You got it. I don't know if you'll see him or not. It's a free world, but doesn't seem that. You'll see me. And that's, rarely. This is awkward. Bye. I'm out. Enjoy the food.
Bye.
I'll turn
He
and
just
watch.
watches you leave.
Remember, that's not free. That's as you need.
He'll nod as I need. I got it.
I'll walk out. Head over to the car and
you'll get in the car and you'll just take a look at the store one last time before like pulling off and starting to drive away. He's like, "What happened with the money?"
it's an investment. It's his daughter. He's gotten it back.
Yeah, he's a father. I know about her.
Yeah, but a father you scare is a father who's going to do something strange later on down the road. See, the way I figure it, if it holds up to chance, you can look at the history of how the mafia was ran here in New York City. Every betrayal came down to somebody getting between a mother and her child, or a father and his child, or it's always some bullshit like that. And, the infamous tax evasion Al Capone in Chicago. And I kind of felt that this was like that. I don't know shit about that, other than you throw me in there blind and I talk to this guy. He's got a favorite sandwich. He knows about the cheese. He's got a way of chips. He knows the community. And he kind of broke down to me not only what he did for you, but about what these guys outside do. And as I heard it, I said to myself, the fuck do I need with a bag of cash and a see-through fucking backpack right now? What am I going to do with it? I'm going to walk around and do what exactly? And this guy isn't being squeezed by gangs. So to me, you run your business as you do, but these little asshole kids he has who occasionally run him some weed, maybe an eighth here or whatever, some yayo, as he says, and I hope that's still cocaine. I was like, makes sense. Occasionally some blood or crip's going to think to take out a 17-year-old who's fucking around on his dime. But it's New York. A 17-year-old, not as deadly as a 13-year-old on a bike with a burner. And I've seen that. So I'm not lowballing those kids at all. And they chose their fucking path. But when it comes to him, he's owning a store, he's going to pay taxes, he's going to do all this shit. Well, that's a lot of drama I don't need to be getting into. But if he calls, I got some free eating to do. And I got some money to clean up afterward because he's going to keep that amount in the backpack because that's my price when he needs me.
He just smirks. He's like, "You got a big heart there, boy. Big heart." Who taught you how to be like this?
You don't know? Charles, you don't know. I can't believe it to tell you. I was reading. Somebody who invites you into their shop, and I fucked that up. I forgot I was supposed to get that beforehand. I couldn't even use my powers on him, if it weren't for that. But I finally got his ass. But he was honest, and that's enough. It's got to count for something. But the most important thing, a father and his daughter, well, that's a love you can't get in the way of. And I'm not saying it out of love. I'm saying because I was reading, right? You ever see the 30 Days of Night?
That movie with the white boys. Why is there no black vampires
that's
up in Alaska?
Yeah, well, who cares? But the point is that you have black vampires. They're just comedians. Anyway, the whole point is that their breed has an understanding about everything. Every scum and evil asshole in the world, no problem. They can eat all day, every day. But the virtuous, those are the ones that come back to kill them, always. They just need a purpose. What I did in there was dodge a bullet. See, if I'm fucking with Lalo and his little girl sees me and something bad happens to him and I do it, he dies, what do you think she's going to grow up doing? Like, I don't know if you're a man of the world now, but Charles, women are on top now. Right? Wonder Woman, learning to do all sorts of things with arrows. There's what's that chick? Blood Rain? Was it Bloodstone? Whatever it is. Listen, I got my pulse on, and all I'm saying is I'm avoiding the next heroine to come and kill me in my coffin. Not that I sleep
like
in
Kill
one.
Bill.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. Listen, we got one more stop to make. You good for it? Or you got somewhere else to be?
You need me to hug an old lady and get... I mean... I'm messing with you, Charles. I don't know who you think I am, but yeah, whatever. Just, you gonna let me know what this one is, or am I kind of going in blind again?
You're going to collect things that you're going to be able to need or use, considering you need to build an army of your own. Call it an investment of sorts. Call it the same way you said backup. This thing in need that you were talking about, same kind of thing. And he'll start driving. This time he's moving away from the Bronx and he's starting to head over to Brooklyn, which is odd. It's not like you really spent too much time with him in Brooklyn, if at all. But Brooklyn he goes as he starts driving down towards the Flatbush area. Now, the Flatbush area you're very familiar with, that only recently, and by recent considering your youth until now, has started to become like a little Haiti in and of its own. As you start to approach, he's like, listen, we're going to go to this location. Collect something for me. This thing, actually, it's more for you than anything else. Name of the person is Davidson Francois. He's a piece of shit. But this will be the last test you have. Only thing you have to do is just pick up the thing, and anything you gain from it is yours to keep.
Pick up a thing, and whatever's in that thing is mine.
Yes.
Okay, a thing. Getting a thing from a piece of shit, and what's in it is mine. Got it. This guy got a name?
He's like... Davidson,
that's what you said. Okay.
Davidson Francois. He really is a piece of shit. He laughs to himself before he pulls up to a nail salon.
Shit, Charles. All right. Hey, if I'm an hour, it's because I'm getting my mani-pedi on, all right? I'll get... Maybe I'll touch up on my phone lock as I'll shut the door and go walk it in. Well,
You'll walk in.
I'll go actually knock on the door.
You'll knock on the door. The evening is still kind of up and going. Normally at this moment in time, what you'll see as you start heading over towards it are your normal like nail signs, mani-pedis, kind of done it. Hours of operation, and it seems like you're coming in just a little bit after closing time, with the only big difference being that there's a TV that's up on a wall that's playing off in a corner that's tucked away, and every now and then you'll see someone at the counter just kind of leaning in, taking a quick look up, but there are still patrons that seem to be inside. Two people are kind of working on nails, one of them is working on a mani-pedi that's just kind of waiting, and you have maybe one or two customers in there. But you'll see, as you knock on the door, a lady whose head is in a wrap. She very much seems like she's in her early 40s. definitely of Haitian descent, and you could definitely tell there's many resemblances that you've been used to, considering that you spent a lot of time in the area of New York and you've lived such a great life, once again, prior to the terrible incidents that you had. She just kind of gives you a quick, brief smile, and I'm sorry, but we're close, honey.
Well, yeah, but you're in it, you got people in it, and I'm here to see somebody who's in there. Francois? Tell him Sway sent me.
She takes a quick look back. Give me 1 second. 1 moment. And she'll hurry, shuffling with her slippers over to the other side, and she'll pick up a phone. And she'll look a little bit worried as you're kind of reading her expression. She says something in what seems to be French of sorts, or at least Creole. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And she'll hang up and she'll walk towards the door. And she'll unlock it. And she'll open the door, and you'll hear the nice little ringing that normally happens when you enter into shops to let you know a new customer has come in. She'll peek her head out, first allowing you entry in before she looks outside for a moment and closes the door and locks it again.
But before I go in, I'll just tell her, is it okay with the owner of the house I come in?
Yeah. Come in.
Yeah. I'll head inside.
And she'll lock the door behind her, and she'll just kind of shuffle behind the counter again. Through the bathroom.
I'll head to the bathroom to try to guess where it is and follow her direction if not.
You'll head over to the restroom. It's very narrow as you get to the back. One of the things you definitely do see is like a small little closet that is made for people to put up. Like they have their own hangers up there, but you can tell from the way this business was kind of set up that it's been reused many times over. And this place actually did have a small closet that was made for people to put their coats on. You can only assume it probably belongs to the employees more than anything else. But you also see a small bathroom that's kind of tucked away. Now, these bathrooms, of course, aren't made for like big, luxurious places. It's not a business bathroom. It's once again a repurposed business of sorts. The bathroom, as you take a look at it, even in the small apartment, it will kind of seem a little bit dingy. The only difference, though, that kind of captures your attention would be, in this case, sir, if you'd be able to give me a wits and awareness roll, if you would.
Wits and awareness. I have it in all fairness. Dos.
Perfect. You'll get into the bathroom for a second. You'll take a look at the mirror that seems like it's just been clean on the side. There's a little dinky sink, but it also does seem like there is a foldable like divider of sorts. As you take a look at the divider itself, most people would probably assume that behind the divider, especially in these rinky-dink locations, usually have like all of the plumbing, right? Where PSC&G probably goes back to take a look and you just don't want it. As you kind of push it aside, it's not that you're not met with it. Instead, you're actually met with another door that seems to lead to another portion of the building. You're not sure if it happens to be a duplex of sorts and connects it to another building, but you definitely do see the door there.
Do I knock? I'll look at her and say that.
She's like, he's expecting you.
Yeah, I'll open the door.
You'll open the door, and what you will see back there is a small storage room of sorts. Small is kind of taking it into consideration that it's probably at least 20 by 30 room. Inside, you'll hear the small amount of music that's currently happening in the background. It definitely sounds of hip-hop, especially considering the type of music they play nowadays. Hot 97 is playing in the background. And you also have a TV that kind of is taking a look at it seems like this is like where they would actually monitor anyone coming in and out for purposes of security. You'll notice that there's like 4 other people inside of it. One of the things that you'll notice is a money counting machine, a couple of people in puffy jackets. But the guy that will be sitting at the head of a table kind of with his feet up, is this kid. This guy is just sitting down there taking a quick look at you. And he's like, "What's good? I hear Sway sent you?"
Yeah, turns out the thing you're holding for Sway I need to get.
Sway never sent anyone here before.
That should be probably the reason why you go, oh, makes sense. Maybe you need to call Sway, go for it. You want to text Sway, knock yourself out. You want to go outside and talk to Sway, he's in the car. Any way you want to do it.
You a cop?
Yeah.
You see everyone kind of shuffle in the room just a little bit. It seems like their posture kind of changes from just sitting at the desk to kind of looking in your direction. Some hands you do see start to kind of slowly maneuver in locations where you kind of anticipate there may or may not be a weapon. Or in some cases, you'll see them kind of spring or get ready to spring as if their hands are kind of on their knees as if they have to stand up. But Davidson just kind of looks at you and he goes like, "Nah, I don't fuck with cops like that. Yo, Juju, just check this thing out." And you'll see one of the guys just kind of stand up a moment. He's like, "Yo, just put up your hands."
Oh, you want this? I'll just lift my shirt so you can see it. The 9 at the hip.
They pause. Nah, checking for that thing. Don't make any sudden movements.
For what thing?
Oh, this guy's
What
got jokes.
fucking thing are you checking for?
A wire.
A who? A wire? And oh my! Listen, if I were a cop and I wanted to bust you, what I wouldn't do is come into your den of fucking wall-to-wall assholes with guns and say, "Hey, I'm sent by a weird guy that you know is a dangerous and weird guy, doesn't like to be fucked with for his time, to get an item." Use your brain. Why the fuck would I do that? What I would want to do is to get you to tell me of your affiliation with this guy and to get that guy in the room and to get that on tape. Because then I have something. Right now it's hearsay. I could be any Yahoo off the street saying whatever, but you know I'm not. And you know I'm not because you didn't shoot me yet. You let me in the fucking door. Because that's the weight of the guy I work for. And technically, more than work for. So now I'm in here in front of you, and you think I'm going to let your boyfriend come over here and fill me the fuck up to get you hot later on tonight? What I'll do is he'll come over here and grab my gun, and I'm going to snap his fucking neck like a twig. Just to prove to you that cops don't kill. And it's not going to bother my sleep one fucking bit. Or, just give me my fucking bag, Francois.
Everyone takes a look at him. The guy who was supposed to frisk you just goes like, "Yo, man, why don't we just fucking do him in like that?" And he's like, "I'm gonna make a quick call. This way, that cool with you?"
That's what I said in the beginning.
Alright then. He'll aim for his phone. And everyone looks a little bit nervous as they're kind of taking a look over in his direction before he picks up the phone. And he'll place the call. "Yeah. Yo, yeah, it's me. Listen, I got some guy with this thing on his face coming into..." "Not for real?" "Nah, I get it. Is that necessary?" "Yeah. All right." And he hangs up the phone. "Yo, hold Jujo down." And you'll see people like, "What?" The 3 people rush the guy that was about to grab onto you. He's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Nah, what's going on? What's going on? You'll hear him kind of struggle in a moment, and he'll take a look at a guy. He's like, yo, just collect one. He'll, like, what the fuck? You'll see Davidson just kind of reach underneath the desk, and he will bring out what seems like a cigar case to you. And as he's bringing it, if you bother to take a look at the side, you'll hear a small amount of, like, clippers being brought out. He's like, nah, bro, yo, Davidson, the fuck is going on right now? Nah, what the fuck you doing? You hear, ah! As you hear the sound of bone being crunched. Be like, sorry, G, this is what Davidson asked for. He'll go, and you'll see the guy just go like, my bad, Jujo, yo, but orders is orders, bro. Like, just drink it off. He'll head over, and he will present to you
Huh.
a cigar case full of fingers before he just adds another one into the pot. He's like, yo, this is yours.
I like take the cigar. I don't even disguise how, like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? Like, I'll close the cigar case with it in there. Thanks.
Yo, my bad about that shit.
Yeah, this is one of those rare moments where Gaetano and Bob have nothing to fucking say. You just... I wouldn't be able to conceive as to why he just cut off this dude's finger that worked for him loyally. And I'm going to just grab the case and thanks. Start walking out.
You'll walk out of the back room as it closes through the bathroom, and the only thing you hear is like the small fan that's used to cool down nails along with the TV. But all the ladies act as if nothing ever happened. They just keep their eyes diverted. And the lady at the counter goes, you have a good night. And she'll walk towards the door, open it up, and let you out.
I will hold it like I was just given the most important collection plate in church to give back to the priest. And I will go to the car, get in, and put it at the median between me and Charles, and shut the door and just stare forward.
Charles will rev up for a moment before he turns on the music. He's like, what do you want to listen to?
Something with 88 keys of a piano, you know?
I could do that. Listen, he'll start to drive. He's like, that is yours now.
What is that? I mean, it looks like a metal ring with fingers ran through it. It looks like somebody came home from Nam and couldn't leave it there.
They'll be important. There are many ways, as I told you, to communicate with the Lord. There are many ways to be able to do the things that our quote-unquote family does. In this, I teach you one last trick. This you'd be able to do things. To be able to summon things and people. It takes quite a bit of pain, but the finger has a lot more than you think it does. I don't understand how the Europeans do it, but we're not talking about them. Cigar? And he'll reach into his little like vest and pull out another one.
You know, those bearers, never mind. Nah, I'm good with the cigar. Non-smoker, whole life.
Listen, I have one last gift to give you, but this one isn't for me.
If I have to collect, never mind. Sure, what is it?
Oh, no. You don't have to go anywhere for this, but he'll continue to drive a moment as he stops at a red light. He takes a quick look around. You'll be able to call upon me if you need help. I'm not going to be there, but this thing that you're doing now, being deputy, this is your journey. Everyone has a specific thing about it, things you just don't want to forget. But like I told you earlier this evening, I'm not your maker, but he will come at one point, and this gift is the only thing that he wanted me to give you. He said when the time was right, and he comes soon. He'll reach underneath the center console, and he'll pull something out, and he'll clear his throat before handing it over to you.
A fucking game. Well, this is a night of... he shouldn't have. A broken Nintendo Switch. What am I going to... Oh, man. What a guy.
This is how I know you're too young. He'll pull over to a moment. Be like... He'll look over at it a second before taking a look underneath. And he'll do a couple of hand gestures to himself before he actually just uses the tip of his machete that he's kept on the left-hand corner to his side. And he'll just kind of spill, or rather, it's almost as if he inscribes something in his hand for a second before he allows it to pull. And you'll see him kind of just using his ring finger to kind of draw up and down in a specific fashion. Before you're able to see the following on the screen. As you take a look at the image as it's static here on your side, the head looks a little bit oblong for a kid his particular age. It seems like his eye is kind of in one end, kind of slightly bulging out, tearing of blood. Almost in the same kind of way that for those of you who have seen Gremlins 2, when the electric gremlin was kind of caught in the phone, you'll notice the echo of this kid looking over at you. And he smiles briefly for like the briefest of seconds before you start recognizing that if you kind of flattened out the image a bit and his head wasn't as oblong as it seems, you could definitely make out the markings of Timothy Gutierrez.
Okay, Oh, where the fuck to begin, Charles? For one, you cut something in your hand, and this Nintendo Switch is showing me a dead kid of my first day at school as a teacher. Is this a joke?
What's the problem?
Not a joke. The problem. What the hell am I going to do with this? That's his Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that was his Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Your father told you could have it.
Yeah.
Do you remember why this boy got into issues?
No, I remember why he got into issues. I distinctly remember the crowd fight and what they did to him, and I couldn't stop it. That's what I remember. So,
quote unquote, according to your father, as he lights up a cigar, no use losing good people. And apparently, this boy was able to provide information. Now he provides information for you.
it would take a dead vampire to think that I was cool with that. Like, that's... Okay. Yeah, I'll take Timothy and his Switch, and we're going to have a really good time. Is there, like, what am I supposed to... Is there a... Do we play games together? Am I supposed to... Do I feed him cobwebs? Like, how does this work? Exactly.
You don't want to break the toy. If you break the toy, you lose Timothy, wherever his soul may or may not go. At least for now, you could take a look at the boy and be able to do things with him. However, he is good at retrieving information, or so I hear. At least that's what your maker says. He might be able to help you.
Okay.
There's one advantage we have over everyone else. No one could see them.
All right.
There is a problem, though. I should warn you. Sometimes he shows up near things next to this. You may have not noticed on the radio, but sometimes you hear him talking. It's stupid. But hey, loudmouth. He gets angry sometimes.
Sure. Look, Charles, I don't know if you want me to be thankful. It's kind of hard right now. You're the weirdest gifting uncle in the history of gift-giving uncles. It's so weird. I'm sorry you had a rough time in Nam, but thank you for that gift. And I've always wanted a Nintendo Switch with dead kids from my class. That's fantastic. So it seems like you're the gift that keeps on giving. Hopefully, that's the last thing we have this evening, because I'm trying to think to myself, I couldn't possibly watch this get worse. I mean, you planned this out to progressively get worse.
You're funny. You are funny. But, yes, this is the last thing for tonight. I have shit to do. Where do you want to go?
Look, just take me back to my car out in front of your place. I'll drive home.
You may want to dry the fingers. And he'll start driving you back. And this is where we will close our scene for this evening.
I'll throw him in the Ninja. Little air fry cook action. Well, that is messed up, DJ. Thanks. That was...
No worries. And thank you, folks, for spending the time with us. This will definitely grow into something, but we just wanted to showcase a bit of Gaetano and his character. We appreciate you, folks. Until next time.
Thanks, everybody. This is definitely revenge for you, DJ. I can feel it. Appreciate it. Well done.
No problem.
I had fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our 25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade podcast. If you like what you heard and want to support us, please share it with others or leave a review. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.